making headlines. The Finance Ministry announces that the state 2025 will prioritize fulfilling the commitments of the President. And the ambassador of China to the Maldives reveals that the Chinese ophthalmology team active in the Maldives has conducted nearly 60 surgeries within a short span of 3 days.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. And now the news in detail. Ministry of Finance announces that the State Budget 2025 will prioritize fulfilling the commitments of President Dr. Mohamed Muiz with a particular focus on launching several major industrial projects.
Deputy Minister of Finance Ahmad Said Mustafa confirmed that the budget has been finalized with the aim of delivering on the promises made by the President. The government has proposed a state budget worth $3.7 billion to the Parliament. An allocation of $804 million is designated for the Public Sector Investment Programme PSIP projects. This marks the largest allocation for PSIP projects in the country's history. Speaking on a program aired on PSM News, Deputy Minister Said explained that President Dr. Muiz took office with numerous commitments, particularly the resolution of the housing crisis. He emphasized that this is the first budget presented by the current administration and that it had been finalized with a primary focus on fulfilling the President's pledges. Furthermore, Deputy Minister Said acknowledged that the funding allocated to PSIP projects in previous budgets had been insufficient. However, he noted that the 2025 budget aims to accelerate the completion of key PSIP initiatives. Notably, he revealed that the ongoing development of Velana International Airport and the Tilamalai Bridge is prioritized in the 2025 state budget as well as this year's supplementary budget. Additionally, the Deputy Minister stated that the priority given to housing by President Dr. Muiz can be reflected from the state budget. The 2025 budget has been described as the largest government expenditure on housing in the nation's history, with the government describing the upcoming year as the golden age of housing in the Maldives.
Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Hassan pledges to bring amendments to the legislations such as the government has the authority to seize properties linked to gang and drug-related activities. Addressing the media, Minister Ihsan emphasized the alarming rise in gang-related crimes and drug activities when the current administration took office. He noted that President Dr. Mohamed Muiz is committed to addressing these issues decisively and permanently during this term, recognizing that legislative reforms are critical to achieving this goal. The minister also acknowledged the progress made by the Maldives Police Service MPS in tackling gang crime, particularly following the establishment of a special unit dedicated to investigating these offences. Furthermore, Minister Ihsan pointed out the significant legal challenges the government faces in approving and enforcing current laws. He highlighted that repeat offenders are often released back into society due to inadequate law enforcement and the lack of stringent legal measures. To address these issues, Minister Ihsan affirmed to impose the heaviest legal penalties for those who offend legal amendments brought to curb gang crimes. He reiterated that ensuring public safety remains the administration's top priority, stressing the government's determination to prevent any threats to public security and reduce opportunities for gang-related crimes. Ambassador of China to the Maldives, Wang Lixing, reveals that the Chinese ophthalmology team active in the Maldives has conducted nearly 60 surgeries within a short span of 3 days. The team is currently active in Hulumale Hospital. The Ministry of Health, Abdullah Nazim, has visited the hospital to observe the works of the team and meet with the patients seeking treatment. The minister was accompanied by Ambassador Wang and Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Dharmawanta Hospital, Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim. The Ministry of Health has extended a sincere gratitude to China for the continuous support it provides to enhance the health care of the Maldives. Following this, Ambassador Wang disclosed that the Chinese doctors team have conducted approximately 60 surgeries for local patients over the past 3 days. She expressed happiness upon observing that the Maldives-China relations and close bilateral cooperation between the two countries benefits the residents of the Maldives. The iCamp, an initiative of the Chinese government which has been conducted as a series since 2016, commenced this year on November 5th. Over the past years, the ophthalmology team from China have treated over 5,000 local patients and conducted eye surgeries on over 600 patients. Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Dharmawanta Hospital, Ibrahim Abdul Razak Halim, reveals plans to increase the number of operating theatres in the Greater Male region to 12 by year end.
Speaking on a program aired on PSM News, CEO Abdul Razak disclosed that currently 4 operating theatres are utilised in both Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital IGMH and Dharmawanta Hospital. However, he stated that as the bed capacity of IGMH increased, the number of operating theatres utilised will also increase to 8, unveiling plans to bring the number of operating theatres utilised in the Greater Male region to 12 by year end. On this stance, Abdul Razak noted that regardless of the high population residing in Hurumale, not a single intensive care unit ICU has been established in Hurumale Hospital. Furthermore, he revealed that the development of Hurumale Hospital includes the establishment of 4 operating theatres, a neonatal intensive care unit, an ICU with a bed capacity of 14 beds, and an ICU with a bed capacity of 10 beds. He expressed optimism that the developmental initiative will play a significant role in addressing the issue of overcrowding in IGMH. According to statistics from IGMH, over 150,000 patients sought emergency healthcare services or general practice appointments, while approximately 240,000 individuals visited the hospital for outpatient department OPD services. Additionally, around 238,000 patients visited Hurumale Hospital for doctor's appointments. Aiming to ensure that healthcare services from IGMH are accessible conveniently and to reduce the waiting time for consultation, Male City Group of Hospitals announced plans to develop 4 general practice GP clinics in various locations of Male City. It further stated that after consulting a general practitioner at a GP clinic, instructions will be provided to consult a specialist with arrangements made by the clinics.
Maldives and Singapore enter an agreement aimed at advancing the Maldives Economic Gateway MEG project. The framework agreement to further develop the MEG project was signed by the Managing Director of Maldives Industrial Development Free Zone Public Limited Company, Shimad Ibrahim, and the Chief Commercial Officer CCO of Capital Asia Investment CAI Private Limited, Tankun Chiao George. Speaking at the ceremony held to mark the signing of the agreement, Managing Director Shimad stated that a formal agreement regarding the project development will be signed within the upcoming 6 months. He revealed that talks have been held to launch a $100 million project with CAI following the signing of the official agreement. During the ceremony, the CCO of Capital Asia Investments unveiled the objective of the company to transform the Ihawandipol atoll into a key hub which provides a variety of services. He disclosed plans to develop the region with international port facilities, bunkering facilities, cruise tourism, real estate businesses, and an export processing zone. President Dr. Mohamed Moise established a Maldives Industrial Development Free Zone with the primary target of diversifying the economy. The company is made up of 5 state-owned enterprises: State Trading Organization STO, Housing Development Corporation Limited HDC, Maldives Ports Limited MPL, Maldives Transport and Contracting Company MTCC, and Maldives Airports Company Limited MSCL. The government expresses optimism in the Maldives welcoming at least 2.2 million tourists next year. In the state budget proposed for 2025, the government anticipated tourist arrivals to stand at 2.2 million, with the bed nights of tourists standing at 14.2 million. It can be noted that the government has an overarching goal of welcoming 2 million tourists by the end of this year. Aiming to increase the number of tourist arrivals, the government has been working tirelessly to complete the development of the new terminal of Velana International Airport VIA and commence operations. The new passenger terminal of the airport will be equipped with the latest facilities and is one of the most significant components of the airport development initiative. The existing international terminal of VIA handles 1.5 million passengers annually. In contrast, the newly constructed 78,000 square meter terminal, equipped with state-of-the-art facilities, will be capable of accommodating 7 million passengers each year. The final preparations are underway, with the new terminal set to feature aero boarding bridges, advanced baggage handling systems, and an ample space for food and beverage outlets, retail shops, lounges, and other services, addressing the limitations of the current terminal. The government announces that opportunities are now open for individuals to apply for the Hiyawehi financing scheme, a government initiative to support individuals and families in constructing homes on allotted land in the Male region.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz launched the Hiyawehi financing program on November 5th. This initiative aims to provide affordable loans for the construction of homes on vacant land with a nominal service charge of just 5%. In line with Sharia law, applicants will be required to make a nominal contribution, though no equity payment will be necessary for the housing resource. The government has allocated $64.9 million for this initiative in next year's state budget. Under the program, a loan of $64,850 will be issued for individuals applying from atolls and islands under the Ravvahi financing scheme, while loans will be issued up to $194,552 for those applying from urban centers under the Saharu financing scheme. Additionally, loans will be issued up to $389,105 for applicants residing in the Greater Male region under the Fahi Male financing scheme. Interested individuals can submit their applications via the Hiyawehi portal with a deadline of 6 months. Therefore, applications for the loan scheme will remain open until April 8, 2025. Additional inquiries regarding the programs can be clarified through the Hiyawehi portal as well. President Dr. Muiz reiterated that the government has already begun addressing housing issues from the very first day of his administration. In accordance with the government's manifesto, he assured that by the end of 2028, every citizen will have access to housing, ensuring that no Maldivian will be left without the opportunity to own or rent a home.
Britain's Finance Minister Rachel Reeves has welcomed the Bank of England's decision to cut interest rates to 4.75% from 5%.
The Bank of England cut interest rates for only the second time since 2020 and said future reductions were likely to be gradual, as it predicted the British government's first budget would lead to higher inflation and economic growth. Reeves said families and business owners would benefit from the rate cut.
The news today is welcome news. The interest rates are now on a downward path, and the Bank of England governor said that the interest rates would continue gradually to come down. That's welcome news for families and business owners who have been hit by the higher cost of living and higher interest rates after the damage and the chaos that the Conservatives caused to our economy.
Last week's budget set by Reeves, with its heavy borrowing and spending, prompted investors to dial back their bets on the pace of future rate cuts. The Bank of England's governor, Andrew Bailey, said he did not think that path would be particularly different due to the budget. The bank said that the government's plans were likely to add almost half a percentage point to inflation at its peak in just over 2 years' time, and caused it to take a year longer to return sustainably to the central bank's 2% target. It added that the budget would also boost the size of Britain's economy by about 0.75% next year, but barely improve annual growth rates in 2 or 3 years' time.
Residents in the Indian capital gasped for air amid hazardous air quality on Friday, as New Delhi was blanketed by a thick layer of haze.
Indian megacities Mumbai and New Delhi were covered by a thick layer of haze amid increasing pollution levels. The National Air Quality Index showed the air quality in New Delhi to be hovering between very poor to severe category, posing health risks to its citizens on prolonged exposure. Additionally, in Mumbai's financial district, visibility was severely impaired, with buildings barely visible due to air quality ranging from poor to moderate. Residents said that they were feeling a burning sensation in eyes along with breathing issues and congestion. Meanwhile, residential apartments in neighboring Gurugram city found respite from the pollution by creating artificial rain through a fire hose as workers sprinkled high-pressure water from roofs of the building to reduce dust particles floating in the air. New Delhi, a city of 20 million people, is the world's most polluted capital. From October each year, air quality worsens as factors including the burning of farm stubble following the harvest, car fumes and firecracker smoke get trapped over the city.
Organizers of the 2026 Youth Olympic Games in Dakar says the first Olympic event on the African continent will be historic as they assure infrastructure projects are on schedule to be completed by December 2025.
Officials from the International Olympic Committee (IOC) and Dakar 2026 organizing team affirmed on Friday that preparations for the upcoming Youth Olympic Games remain on track. Senegal is set to host Africa's first ever Youth Olympics, scheduled for 2026 after delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The 2026 Games marks the first time an African nation will host an Olympic event, a significant milestone for the continent and the IOC's efforts to expand the Olympic movement globally. The Games, which focus on athletes aged 14 to 18, are expected to attract international attention and provide a platform for Africa's youth to showcase their talents on a world stage. The IOC Vice President highlighted the significance of bringing the Games to Africa, calling it a historic moment for the continent. She added that it is an invaluable opportunity for the youth. Infrastructure for the Games is expected to be completed by December 2025, enabling test events for international athletes, according to the General Coordinator for Dakar 2026. Senegal's National Olympic Committee President acknowledged the challenges but assured that the timeline remains achievable, with the addition of a new stadium enhancing the original plan.
A painting by a humanoid robot artist called Aida has made history by selling for $1.32 million at Sotheby's, the first time a humanoid robot has had its work sold by a major auction house.
The robot is a 7-foot-tall impressionistic portrait depicting the father of modern computing, Alan Turing. It had been anticipated to fetch between $120,000 to $180,000, approximately 100,000 euros to 150,000 euros. Aida told Reuters at a preview in October that the artwork is a portrait of Alan Turing, the brilliant British mathematician who laid the foundation for modern computing and artificial intelligence.
My artwork is a portrait of Alan Turing, the brilliant British mathematician who laid the foundation for modern computing and artificial intelligence. The portrait has a fractured and layered quality, reflecting our current fragmented and multifaceted worlds.
Aida robot, named after the first computer programmer, is the brainchild of Aidan Meller, who says she is intended to spark a conversation about how people interact with technology and artificial intelligence and said this is a significant moment. The process involved Ida painting several small portraits of Alan Turing, which were then combined and scaled up onto a large canvas. Studio assistants then add a finish to the artwork by adding paint and texture. Finally, Ida robot paints on top of the canvas, adding new marks and texture.
There have been many artists called non-artists, right from Matisse and Picasso and the like, and they seem to have fared history pretty well by being called a non-artist. Is it art? Well, that's up to the audience to decide. Our focus is an ethical arts project that explores the current beginning of the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
Sotheby's digital art sale, which also featured contributions from generative artists like Xcopy, Puck and Refik Anadol, was held online from October 31st to November 7th.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant day ahead.